You know that quiet, almost profound space right after a really good workout? Your breathing starts to slow down, the sweat is still drying, but internally, something has dramatically shifted. Your mind just feels clearer. Your confidence naturally rises. You actually feel, maybe without even realizing it, more magnetic. Well, in this explainer, we're going to reframe that exact feeling. We're stepping away from looking at exercise as just a standard tool for physical fitness, and we're going to explore it as a profoundly powerful, transformative, energetic tool.
I want you to just sit with this question for a second. What if exercise is manifestation? What if physical movement isn't just about your health, but is actually one of the absolute fastest ways to align your mind, your body, and your energy with the reality you truly want? You see, manifestation isn't just about sitting completely still and thinking positive thoughts. It's about becoming energetically compatible with the life you desire. Movement changes energy. It's an awakening.
So, let's dive into Section 1, the energy of movement and breaking stagnancy. We really need to dismantle a common myth right out of the gate here. People often think manifesting is just visualizing, right? Doing affirmations or staying stuck in your head just wishing for success. But think about it. If you stay physically stagnant for too long, your emotional state gets heavy. You overthink, your motivation totally drops. Kinetic manifestation, on the other hand, is active. It's flowing. Look at nature. Rivers flow, the wind moves, the earth rotates. Energy was literally never meant to be stagnant. When you move intentionally, you interrupt those stagnant emotional patterns. Movement creates momentum, and the universe, it responds to momentum.
The universe really mirrors your internal state. When you're pushing through a run or lifting a heavy weight or just holding a really challenging yoga pose, your body is physically declaring, I am active, I am alive, I'm getting stronger. And because the body and mind are so deeply intertwined, your subconscious takes that physical reality and translates it directly into a psychological belief. It genuinely begins to believe that your entire life is moving forward too.
Moving on to Section 2. Rewriting your identity by building belief through action.
Here's a somewhat hard truth. You don't attract simply what you want. You attract what you fundamentally believe you are worthy of experiencing. And physical exercise transforms how you view yourself faster than almost anything else. It's not about aesthetics or how you look in the mirror, it's about discipline. First, you endure the discomfort. Then you stay consistent with it. And finally, your identity evolves. Every single time you lace up those shoes and finish a workout you really didn't want to do, your subconscious is receiving undeniable evidence that you keep promises to yourself.
Confidence isn't built through affirmations alone. It is built through proof. You can stand in front of a mirror and tell yourself you're powerful all day long, but exercise gives your mind the literal physical proof it craves. Once your subconscious identifies you as a disciplined, highly capable person, your entire energetic frequency changes. Your standards naturally rise. You stop chasing validation, and you just begin speaking and walking differently. You fundamentally become a different person.
This brings us to Section 3, releasing trapped emotions, because the body definitely keeps the score.
We have to address the sheer emotional weight so many of us carry around every single day. Most people hold on to trapped emotional energy, stress, fear, heartbreak, generalized anxiety, right there in their muscle tissues, often without even realizing it. The body remembers. But physical activity helps your nervous system process those exact emotions that words alone just cannot heal. First, movement reduces your stress hormones. Second, you experience a literal physical release of that stored tension. This naturally leads to profound mental clarity, and ultimately, your manifestation frequency changes completely.
Trying to manifest is incredibly difficult when your body is just weighed down by emotional heaviness. Emotionally exhausted people really struggle to believe in possibility. But exercise creates emotional circulation. It flushes out that stagnant stress and builds resilience. When your emotional state naturally improves, your capacity to expect better things is fully restored. You don't even have to force the positivity anymore. It just effortlessly circulates back into your life.
Now, let's look at Section 4, the magnetism of presence and quieting the mind.
True manifestation requires you to actually be present in your own life, which, let's face it, is increasingly difficult today. We live in this constant state of mental noise, always scrolling, always worrying, totally disconnected from our physical selves. But when you train intensely, you're forced to return to physical presence. When you're pushing your physical limits, your mind has no choice but to temporarily quiet down. The chaos just stops. Your body becomes highly active, which actually allows your mind to become incredibly receptive. Intuition becomes crystal clear in that kind of silence. And
This really isn't a new concept. Throughout history, movement has been deeply tied to personal magnetism and spiritual power. Aristotle famously taught his philosophy students while walking. He actually established the peripatetic school because he knew that movement sparked profound clarity. Ancient monks practiced walking meditations. They intuitively understood that movement awakens your life force. When you feel physically strong, you radiate this quiet, grounded certainty. And the world, opportunities, people, they respond incredibly well to that kind of certainty.
Section 5. Becoming over-wishing and using action as a signal. This is where we really bridge the gap between wanting your life to change and actually participating in that change. So many people say they want a completely different reality, but their energy remains totally inactive. Exercise teaches you the exact traits required to hold on to success: action, consistency, patience, progress, and delayed gratification. When you train your body, you are unconsciously training your mind to handle greater responsibility and pressure. You're sending a massive, undeniable signal of readiness out to the universe.
Manifestation is not just wishing, it is becoming. The universe responds so differently when your energy actively says, I am preparing myself for the life I desire. You can't just sit still and wish for a vibrant, powerful life. You have to prepare your physical and energetic vessel to actually hold that life. You have to become the person who is truly capable of living it.
Every workout is a conversation with your future self. It's no longer about punishment or just chasing aesthetics. Every single time you move, you step away from stagnation. It becomes a sacred act of communicating to your future self that you are doing the work right here, right now, to meet them halfway.
At the end of the day, exercise doesn't just magically grant wishes. What it does is infinitely more powerful. Movement changes the person who is manifesting. It strips away the heavy emotions. It builds undeniable confidence through proof, and it awakens your life force. And when the person changes, well, the reality around them has no choice but to begin changing too.
So, the next time you feel stuck, remember that a stagnant body creates stagnant energy. But a moving body, that can awaken an entirely new reality. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to reflect on. What type of movement makes you feel most connected to yourself? Find that movement and let it transform you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I'll see you next time.